States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, Moines County Board of Supervisors, Tuesday, August 20th, 2024. Are there any changes to the tentative agenda? We have an agenda. Meet with department heads, elected officials. Sarah Doty, Moines County Auditor.
Good morning. Burlington special election absentee voting begins in the office tomorrow. Janelle was not able to attend today, but asked me to report that tax statements went out on Thursday, and you can make your payments either in the office or online. Other than that, business as usual.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Colin Durst, IT.
Good morning. Nothing really new to report. Just keep busy like always.
Thanks, Colin. Moines County Sheriff Kevin Glenn.
Really the same for us. We have plenty going on, but nothing major for the board. The jail's at 97 this morning, maybe 98. There was some movement going on there. And we had 19 out of county. Our list is getting a little bit old for the residential facility, so we're gonna reach out there again and just kind of give a little nudge. There's some on that list that are like 45 days old right now. So 5 on that wait list. So it just helps have that communication, and we'll see what we can make happen.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yes, sir.
Lisa Schaefer, Des Moines County Attorney.
Still catching up for vacation. It sounds like it was fairly quiet while I was gone, except for one weird case that I didn't learn about until Sunday night. That apparently everyone in the country knows about but me.
Yeah, I saw it online.
Yeah, people were texting me about it. I'm like, I'm in Hilton Head and I don't care. When I'm on vacation, I wasn't looking at my phone. Wasn't doing any of that. So that was funny. It was funny to come back to, I suppose, in a weird sort of way. But I did want to introduce Cassandra Kilby. She goes by Cassie. We have a personnel action for her today. She's going to be clerking with us until she takes and passes the bar. Kind of relieve some of the tension for Terry and I on the criminal end. So just wanted to introduce her to the board and have everyone say welcome. Otherwise, we're just the same old controlled chaos that we always are.
Thank you. Welcome aboard, Kathy. Jared Lasker, Land Use.
Morning. For land use, we've been just keeping busy as usual. A number of zoning floodplain permits last few weeks here. Got some subdivisions in progress. Of course, we have one on the agenda today. Apart from that, I don't have anything to report.
Thank you, Jared. Krista Pogum, Public Health Director.
Good morning. We're also keeping busy. It's back to school season, so our clinics have been really busy. We do have clinics every Tuesday, and I encourage people to make appointments if they can. Walk-ins are always welcome, but we've been really busy, so people have had to wait a little while. We had the Board of Health meeting last week. Talked about the Board of Health analytics for the Board of Health website, and that's getting a lot of views. It seems to be more and more popular, so we encourage people to visit that. Talked about the Restoration Board, which is the Iowa Army Ammunition Plant Restoration Board that talks about the plumes south of town. And they are making progress. Things are starting to move along. They've got some areas that they're working on. And of course, being public health, the board's always concerned about the water, making sure that drinking water is safe. And so that's part of the reason they monitor that, and they seem to be making some progress. And then talked about the Iowa HHS, Iowa Health and Human Services meeting that I attended the week before. And at one time, so with mental health, they've done that regionalization, and the plan was public health was next on the list for the regionalization. But they did say that they're going to scale that back. They're going to slow down the process because they feel like they need to implement that slower. And so it would not, the regionalization or any changes to public health would not be on the legislature docket for 25 and possibly not even for 2026. And they were very adamant that their changes are more at the state level for public health, and that local health would really not see any changes, just more support for things such as epidemiology data is what their plan is at the state level. Iowa's the second highest cancer rate state in the country, so those are the type of things that they want to address more at a state level and see how they can assist the local public health, so that's all I have.
Are you aware, I ran across it yesterday, the environmental working group will give you a report on your tap water by zip code, the amount of contaminants, what the contaminants are, how many there are. I will, if you'll remind me, I will email that to you. Either you or you stop me after that, and I will email you. It's just a link, and you go and you put in your zip code. It said there's 8 contaminants. Down below it'll list what they are, the percentage, what the allowable percentage is. It's interesting.
That would be interesting. I know a lot of people are concerned about the drinking water. I know the EPA had that meeting with Burlington Northern Santa Fe regarding the shop section there, so, you know, as far as the contamination there, so, yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ken Heineman, Mental Health Agency of Southeast Iowa.
Good morning. The region has received one ACT, which is Assertive Community Treatment RFP response, and the scoring team will review this soon, and there's supposed to be, according to the timeline, it's supposed to be a decision by September 11th on the ACT RFP. So far we've only had one response to our ACT RFP, but it's
Is that the one you were expecting from Jennifer?
Yep, Melody, yep. So we'll hear about that later. CIT meeting this Thursday at Burlington Police Department. And we've had 2 more CDSs like myself who have resigned recently. So Stacy Veach out of our Bloomfield office and Heather Gross out of the Oskaloosa office have both resigned, knowing that regions are ending and everything. Their offices are being shuttered now, so somebody else will be assigned to do that work, but there won't be anybody at the local level to meet with people like we're doing. That's just part of the way they're switching the whole system around. There's just some of that, so we'll all do the best we can with what we have. That's about all I have.
Thanks, Ken.
Yep.
Shannon Prado, Emergency Management Director.
I just have a couple little things. So, as of the last couple of days, I don't know if you've noticed, it's been kind of hazy. So the air quality has been kind of moderate. It hasn't been horrible, but it hasn't been great either. There's a lot of wildfires around, so just keep aware of the conditions. Sometimes, I'm not saying that it has been, but it could get to the point where the air quality could be unsafe for some groups of people, some vulnerable groups, so just keep aware of that. And then school is starting back up, so just be aware of kids that are walkers or kids on the bus. School buses will get back out. I know I'm nervous about my daughter going to school and getting on school buses, so please just be aware of the kids.
She'll be too excited to look out for herself.
Oh man, that girl. So yeah, so just be ready for the kids. But other than that, just chugging along.
Thanks, Shannon. Angela Vaughn, Safety.
Good morning. Just keeping busy, don't really have anything for the board, but just keep moving.
Thanks, Natalie Stepner, the Moines County Recorder.
Good morning, just business as usual in the recorder's office. Nothing new to report, Jim.
Thanks, Natalie. Rodney Bleesner, Maintenance Director.
Good morning. Really nothing new to report. Got a couple agenda items in our work session today.
Thanks, Rodney. Brian Carter, County Engineer.
Good morning. Plenty of stuff going on. Obviously, the bridges are making progress. So that's moving along, although I still think it's gonna be late September, best case for those bridges to be opened up. But I would mention that we started a project yesterday in Middletown, so Jim, if you happen to drive through there, you probably saw our crew there. We had an intake there that had a big hole open up in front of it, and the guys should have that wrapped up, I would think, maybe today or tomorrow, and we're gonna move on and move over and do a patch over on the ethanol plant road by the railroad tracks. So plenty of stuff going on, probably more than we can get to, but things are going okay, and we'll keep on going.
Thanks, Brian.
What about Pleasant Grove Road?
As far as I told you about the culvert, is that what you're asking about?
Yeah.
We did all that last week. We closed it on Wednesday. The crew had the culvert in and out, and the intakes out Monday. In fact, they were ready by the next day. The concrete contractor came in and poured the road back in. They came, I don't know, Thursday afternoon or Friday, and they poured the flumes. And our crew pulled the closure signs, and we sent out a press release opening it back up. So it was open by Friday afternoon, and that's the only work as of now that we'll have Pleasant Grove Road closed for, at least that I have right at the moment. So it's wrapped up for all intents and purposes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. I think I missed anybody. Correspondence. Did either of you gentlemen have any correspondence? I had none. We will proceed to discussion and vote. We have accounts payable claims in the amount of $2,117,864.85.
Move approved. Second.
Sarah?
Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Shane McCampbell?
Yes.
Tom Brokaw?
Yes. We have a Class C liquor license for the Tipsy Travelers on August 24th, 2024, for an event at 14133 Irish Ridge Road. Sure the sheriff has no problems with that.
No issues with the Tipsy Traveler.
Motion to approve. Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell?
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Tom Brokaw?
Yes. We have the First United Church of Christ 180th year celebration proclamation. Is there anybody who would like to speak to that? You can, it doesn't have to be just one, it can be more than one.
I think they should all get up.
You're absolutely right.
You're gonna pray for him right now.
You got a lot of work.
Take over. I'm not saying that lock the door, we're gonna be there for a while.
Switching hats today, Rodney Gleason, 1328 North Central. Here today on behalf of First United Church of Christ as a member of the Outreach Committee. I'd like to introduce a few of our other members, Ann Yaley, Debbie Bleasner, Shauna Bleasner, Donna Falgren, and our pastor, Reverend Foy Blair. I want to thank the Board of Supervisors for the recognition and put into perspective our 180-year history. The congregation was established a mere 10 years after the Meskwaki native villages inhabited these hills in 1833. The town of Burlington received its name in 1834, and between 1833 and 46, Burlington had grown from 3 original settlers to 3,000 people. At that time, German immigrants were among the most numerous in Burlington, followed by a smaller number of Irish and Swedes. Our German Protestant ancestors wanted a place to worship and fellowship together, so a small group met in homes and then in second stories of downtown businesses. And by 1843, they had organized as the first evangelical church under the leadership of a German missionary pastor that came from Germany to St. Louis and then to Burlington. The original church on the same site was built in 1851, more than 40 years before Snake Alley was built in the 1890s. That original church faced east toward downtown area, was remodeled several times before being razed in 1925, so the newer current building could be built. Our present building, dedicated in 1926, was remodeled in 1965 with the addition of a newer section on the west side. The original historic sanctuary interior remains along with the original bell from the 1880 church that sits in the bell tower, and you can still hear on Sunday mornings ringing in the downtown area. So historically, leaders from our church assisted with the formation of sister congregations to serve other neighborhoods such as St. John's, Laddie, Zion, and St. Luke's UCC. Throughout the years, there's been many changes. Of course, the congregation has moved from German to English language and merged with Reformed and congregational denominations to become the United Church of Christ. Some traditions have changed, but the desire to worship freely, pray, and serve God through mission remains. Our current membership continues to support national and local projects and organizations, local shelters, food pantries, provide low-cost meals, and serve as a friendly ambassador to all those who visit Snake Alley in the North Hill District. We are proud of our heritage and the positive impact and influence we have had here in Des Moines County, and are now looking forward to future opportunities to serve and to grow for at least another 180 plus years. Once again, we want to thank you for your recognition, and we welcome everyone to join us in our month-long celebration in the month of September, culminating with a big celebration on September 29th, with service, song, and of course, some amazing food after the service. Once again, thank you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Wiesner. Anybody else like to speak?
We do a lot of that.
Well, hopefully you don't have to make him talk on Sunday morning, right? We just pray for all of you.
Whereas the First United Church of Christ, 611 Columbia Street, at the top of Snake Alley, founded in 1843 as the first evangelical church, is recognizing their 180th year anniversary throughout the month of September 2024. And whereas it is noteworthy that the original church building dedicated on this site in 1851 predated the construction of Burlington's iconic Snake Alley, and the current building, dedicated in 1926, serves as a well-maintained hallmark to the entrance of Snake Alley. And whereas the founders and congregants of this church have successfully navigated more than 180 years of cultural, local, and international change while providing timely worship, fellowship, and benevolent service. And whereas the founders and leaders from this congregation have positively impacted the local area through assisting with the founding of sister churches, wartime mission projects, and support of benevolent projects for more than 180 years. And whereas members of the First United Church of Christ currently participate in the support of local and national charities, shelters, fairs, festivals, and serve as friendly ambassadors for visitors to Snake Alley. And whereas members and friends of your First United Church will celebrate and invite community members to join their anniversary recognition each Sunday throughout the month of September, culminating in Celebration Sunday on September 29, 2024. And now, therefore, we, the Des Moines County Board of Supervisors, Des Moines County, Iowa, do hereby recognize and celebrate the milestone of more than 180 years of heritage with the First United Church of Christ 180th year celebration. Entertain a motion to approve.
Approve the motion. Second.
Sarah?
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Shane Campbell,
Yep.
Tom Broker.
Yes. Congratulations.
I did hear Pat, or I heard you say you're gonna pray for that gentleman in front of you.
Absolutely.
Do it real hard.
No, I can see he a troublemaker already.
He is.
Back of his
Troublemaker.
head. So am I.
There's a room full of them.
And I'm at home, see.
Chris, while we're signing, this would be an opportunity for you to tell us what's going on. Chris Lee, Conservation.
Sorry, I was late, I had a meeting
No
really
problem.
long this morning. We're just kinda running around trying to keep things maintained, and, the crews were on the trail this week, doing some surfacing improvements and things like that. And, monarch hunting season has started. Our nature center staff, captures and, grows and tags monarchs, throughout this time of year into September. And so, we'll have some monarch programs coming up for folks to participate in, which is always kind of fun. We'll be hatching monarchs in the nature center. So anybody stops by the nature center can see what's going on and learn from the nature center staff about that and the decline of that prolific species. And just, yeah. Nice act this week for us county folks. And so, yeah, I think that's about it.
How do you tag a butterfly?
So it's these itty bitty stickers.
Now that,
And so there's a certain spot on the wing, and you gotta get it on that exact right spot, but it won't affect their flight. And so you put it on the bottom of the wing, and so each sticker is done through there's an international organization that oversees the tagging. And then spotters down in Mexico, where all these monarchs go, will go through and try to spot those tags and read the numbers on them, and they'll record it, and so you can find out, as those tags are documented during their migration, it gives you data on where they're going and when they're arriving and that kind of stuff. And we have had on at least one occasion, maybe more, where our tags have been documented down there in Mexico, which is pretty cool.
They read the numbers on that little bitty tag. I
Yeah.
take it they're all young.
Really? With gentle hands.
Wow,
Very soft.
that's impressive.
Thank you, Chris. We have resolution 2024-43, the final plat of Belknap Hesselberg subdivision.
Well, this is a one lot minor subdivision, kind of right near the center of the county in Franklin Township. Basically, there was a just under 50-acre tract on the north side of 160th Street that was sold a few months ago at auction. It's mostly farmland, but there is a section of wooded ground in the middle. And the buyer of that, the recent purchaser of that property through auction, they are interested in maintaining the farmland, but found another individual that was interested in purchasing the wooded area for private recreational use. So this subdivision is intended to split that just over 9 acres off from the rest of the property, which would remain with the purchaser from the auction. So this is a landlocked lot, so there is a access easement on the plat shown basically on the southeast corner of that property, stretching up the eastern boundary to connect to the lot. It provides, it includes an existing field entrance off of 160th Street at the south end. Did get a comment from Secondary Roads that there are some site distance issues in that area that would be an issue if this there were an interest in developing a house on this property. And if that were the case, then the entrance would probably need to be moved a little bit further to the west. However, I have spoken with the subdivider, and through their understanding of what the buyer intends to do here, they are entirely confident that at least for the foreseeable future, it would be just used as recreational ground. There's pretty hilly terrain back in there. So with that knowledge that they understand that there would be that limitation, if somebody wanted to build a residence in the future, we are proceeding ahead with that and would recommend approval with the added condition on the resolution that just acknowledges that if there were to be a residence built there in the future, they'd need to coordinate with Secondary Roads on an alternate entrance. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Jared.
I move to approve final plat of Belknap Hesselberg subdivision.
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell.
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes. Signed. Goes in for the meeting, Jared. We have personnel actions. We have Cassandra Kilby on law clerk for the county attorney's office. Cassandra Kilby on law clerk, $28 per hour. Start date August 19th, 2024.
Move to approve.
Second.
Jim
Sarah?
Carrey.
Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
Yep.
Tom Broker.
Yes.
Welcome aboard, you're officially here.
Now you're officially being your
Yesterday. That's what it's all about.
We have a personnel action for the maintenance. We have Alex Schnedler, lead maintenance, a 36-month step increase effective August 23, 2024. The previous rate was $41,506.62. The new rate is $42,336.72.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell.
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes. And we have two personnel actions for the correctional center. We have Angela Cooey, a correctional officer, with 14.75 unpaid hours. And Kenyatta Rooks, a correctional officer, with FEMLA unpaid hours, or 67.3 unpaid hours.
Motion to approve both?
Second?
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell.
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes. We have minutes for the regular meeting of August 13th, 2024.
Move to approve? Second.
Sarah?
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes. Any other business? I have none. Future agenda items.
I have none.
Committee reports.
Well, Krista gave a pretty good, on public health, she gave a good report on that, but on that website, our reports, you know, I did want these gentlemen, people know, we even had people from Berlin on our website, which is amazing. And they just scattered over from Texas, Ohio, Colorado, Illinois, Dublin, Michigan, and Missouri, you know, and they just go on. That's a good thing. It's a good thing for us.
It's very good.
So I did want to mention that. And I had a college fair board meeting this morning, early. And the fair was a good success. And then Dr. Ash gave a little input on the safe building. They're getting paint and drywall done at it, and a little 1,500 people in case of a tornado or something. And that's 5,000 square foot in the middle, that's all open space. And according to FEMA, that's what it takes for 1,500 people, so if you see a tornado coming within the next few days, why, head out to the college if you're in town.
Don't jinx us.
What's that, Ken?
I said, don't jinx us. I've had enough.
I attended the Grow Greater Burlington meeting. We had a presentation from the Burlington Community School regarding that special election for the PPL levy that they're having, what is it, the 10th?
Yes.
September 10th. And there was some sort of a mix-up on the meeting last Tuesday for the public health building, and it did, but I got Ryan on the phone anyway, so they will be busy the last 3 weeks, but they still think that they will be ready to finish it up by the middle of September, so we can start moving in there. They've finished the last of the siding and then the interior, so yeah, they should be some busy bees out there. We'll see. And that's all I had. Public input. If anybody from the public would like to address the board, you can email the Board of Supervisors at board@dmcounty.com. That's BOARD@dmcounty.com. Or you can call 319-753-8203 extension 4. That's 319-753-8203 extension 4. And we'll give you a couple minutes to initiate that email or that call. In the meantime, is there anybody in attendance that has any comments or questions?
I do,
Okay.
but you have to promise not to change it.
I know we have the county attorney. What's the promise worth? Request as yet unknown.
Well, I got my tax bill, it went down $450.
Is it mostly residential?
No.
Wow.
I mean, is it for a house?
Well, sorry.
Is it for a house?
And land.
and land.
But the taxable went down,
The reason for that,
way down.
the reason for that is that I'm sorry, at the beginning, last year, or the year before, was it a year, the fiscal 22, so in March or April of 22, most people got a property assessment. Said, okay, and over the Des Moines County, that property assessment averaged an 11% increase. So if you had a property that's been worth $100,000 before, now it's worth average $111,000.
Right.
So, then there were some people unhappy about that, and some of them called me. But,
As they should.
they formed a line. But anyway, the Board of Supervisors doesn't have anything to do with that, that's the assessor's office. But what happened was statewide, residential property averaged 23% higher. So the Code of Iowa limits residential property to an increase of 3% a year, but that's statewide, that's not individual properties. That's what happened when I talked to the people about their assessment. Anyway, so that's what a property tax rollback is for, is they adjust that so that the average, that 23% average, will come down to 3%. So they lowered the rollback from about 54.5%, and the rollback, you multiply that times your assessed value, and that's your taxable value. But it went from about 54.5% to about 46.5%, which, if you were among the group of people whose property assessment went up 11%, or even if it went up probably 15 or 18%, your taxable value went down. So that's what happened is the receipts that Des Moines County and all the taxing entities in Des Moines County, their receipts from residential property taxes will be down. The commercial went up. It went up sharply. The assessor gets, he knows, you know, the state has an idea, said, we think your residential or your commercial property taxes are too low, and so he raised them, and the state came back with a equalization order, said raise them another 13 or 15%. So commercial property went up a lot. So that's where the taxes kind of shifted from residential to commercial.
So curious, the people that their property taxes went down, have they called you and thanked you for that?
I am.
But that's fair, nobody wants to talk to me anyway. But anyway, to make a long story short, there's nothing easily understood about anything that the Code of Iowa has enacted and then reenacted and adjusted over a period of decades. They never just start out with a new law, they just change the old one, cross this out and add a clause or two, as Lisa is here to tell you.
So how does that affect the overall budget?
With the budget, the tax base went, if you we're gonna be okay. It's you know, and we because those are the taxes that we've already used to create the budget we're now in. You'll be paying the first half of those taxes at the end of September and the end of March. So that's already figured in there. We look at what total property taxes are and adjust the levy based on that. I don't want to even touch the hospital claims. I'll Tracy look at me on the corner, so that'll change, but so that's what happened. That's how it works. So I'm glad your taxes are lower, that's great.
So am I.
So,
Thank you, till next year.
anybody else?
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yes, sir.
Could our church get a picture of the board at the end, and you adjourn?
I'm sure you can.
I appreciate it.
We have one other gentleman here that's just here to observe. I believe his name is Paul. Oh, that would be Paul, okay. Paul, do you have any questions about how this works?
No?
Or what we did, were we that clear?
Yeah.
I like you.
I like you a lot.
I think he said he understood your tax explanation as well. Then it's you and me. Hey Tracy.
Yes, sir.
He's a minister. Would you tell him how long does a minister preach again?
Oh. So, my late husband had an uncle who would put a peppermint in his mouth when the homily started, or the sermon for the day started, and if the preacher was still preaching when it was dissolved, he got up and left. So, I've always heard that the first 5 minutes is for the people, the second 5 minutes is for you, and if you go to 15, it's for the devil.
See, obviously you want deliverance Pentecostal. Service starts at 1 o'clock and gets out when the spirit guides.
Actually, I was raised Catholic, so we were at an hour.
Fixed hour.
That's right.
Roman Catholic Brooklyn, I understand.
This has been an educational meeting.
We'll see how the mints disappear at the fellowship now.
So, any further public comment? If none, with an aye, we're adjourned.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, all have a great day. We're gonna have a work session regarding reuse of the current local health bill now.
You are having.
Yes.
Okay. Tell them when we're ready. Okay, we have a work session with maintenance, local health, county attorney, essentially anybody that wanted to come regarding the reuse of the current public health building. We're getting close enough, we should be, hopefully be moving a month from now. And figure out what we'd like to do with that building. And we briefly mentioned it a number of times. We haven't really had a work session. I believe once we talked to Trent about what we should do with it. Anyway, so we're pretty much open to suggestions. I did, after we talked about it last week, I've got a friend that's on the library board or the foundation board. If I guess, I'll be wrong. But anyway, and so I called him up and I said, just out of curiosity, I said, would the library be interested in that property or something like that? And he thought they might be, and he said he'd get back to me, and he hasn't got back to me, so whether that's a deal or no deal, don't know, but it's a thought. And I know there's talk about either, selling it or reuse of it, or, I personally think it'd be pretty expensive to try to remodel that. That's, I'm sure that was a fine building in the 1930s or whenever they built that. But there's a lot of wasted space and the rooms are, anyway.
My take on this is, we put the new public health building on a lot that has not been on the tax roll for years and years and years.
Huh?
This building over here has not been on the tax roll because it's been county owned. I'd like to sell a building and get it back on the tax roll. Well, that's my take on it. I don't know. I can't see us paying to keep the building up and paying the heat, everything on it, even if it was for storage. I just can't see it myself. I don't know about you guys.
I'd personally love to sell it. I don't know how many people are gonna be interested in buying it. I definitely don't wanna go into being a landlord, but, I know this much, I don't want to tear it down. So, I'm open.
Well, I don't want to pay for tearing it down. There was an inquiry, a few months ago, from a dentist who will remain unnamed, who was, curious about it, and, I hadn't heard from him, so I reached out to him a 3 months later, and he'd gone another direction. I think he purchased another office or land or something. But, we're open to suggestion, and
Be a good law office.
Would have been a great location for a county attorney's office.
this is an aside, but Pat, you might remember.
Oh, I remember.
Pat used to, Barb Baker used to be the public health director. And so Pat would go over there with the tape measure. Barb would be madder than a hornet, and she'd come in the board of supervisors.
I think that's why she waited to retire until he left.
Blankety blank county attorney's over there. I think we're gonna take this over.
I truly believe that's why she waited to retire after he did.
Might have been, but I got a kick out of that.
That's pretty good.
But, we briefly looked at it. Well, we got a couple estimates. I think Rodney came up with one or two of them, what it would take to remodel that. And it was gonna be expensive and unwieldy, and you still weren't gonna have anything that you wanted. And, so I guess if I was gonna come down, I'd like to sell. If we tried to do anything with it, it would require extensive remodeling, even if you were gonna make a parking lot out of it, to take it down. And,
I think that would, just given the age of it, it's probably full of asbestos and whatever. I mean,
would be my
that would
guess.
in
I
and of
don't know,
itself
but
be
I
expensive.
would guess you're probably right. And,
I had somebody that was interested, and I haven't spoke with her recently. But I mean, I could reach back out. I mean, you know, again, ultimately, I think we all wanna just sell that building and, yeah, get it back on the tax rolls. That would be the first choice, I think, but.
Has anybody approached Waterworks?
No, I just, the,
I talked to Shane, might have been like a year or so ago, like, hey, would you guys be interested in it? And he's like, well, what are you guys wanting for it? I'm like, I have no idea. I'm like, it's still a ways away, it was at that point, but, I don't know, I guess if we kinda knew maybe a little more information on, you know, for one, we had to figure out exactly, you know, what we're doing if we are gonna sell it. You know.
the assessor
Maybe they would be interested.
came up with a, cause I asked him a while back, some sort of of course, you don't wanna go by what it's insured, that would be way too much, whatever the insurance company appraises it at. But they had because a few years ago, they started appraising, I think, even nonprofit, land, so that they have an idea what it costs. So, and he sent me something, and I apologize, I don't remember what that is, I could probably look it up or ask him again of what that was worth, so there's sort of a number floating out there. And I could get that. How about I do that, and then I'll touch base with you, and if you wanna reach out to them, see if it's something they think they'd be interested in. And if you wanna give that individual a call,
Yeah,
just, and I'll call the guy I talked to and ask him if there's, of course, it's just a few days I talked to him, so he really wouldn't have had a chance to, talk to anybody, I suppose.
I would just say, I mentioned this a week ago, but if you're gonna sell it, which seems like the general direction that is being entertained, you may wanna think about some type of perpetual maintenance easement or something like that, that gives the county the right to, or even if you wanna be neighborly, even if Waterworks isn't interested in it, something with Waterworks, because the wall essentially, that holds the entire parking lot in place for public health is also what allows Waterworks and our alley to exist safely, for whether it be parking or just use or anything, and there's a mutual sharing there, and obviously whatever the property line is gonna be right in the vicinity of that wall for the parking and the drive, the way that building's set up. I'm not sure how that would work, it'd probably be a bit of a question for more of a real estate attorney, or I don't know if that's an area of expertise for Lisa or not, I don't wanna short her on her.
Not me, but Trent.
Yeah, or
He's
knowledge,
up
but I guess
our
what I'm saying
tax
is, that
appeals.
I would think we wouldn't encumber any deed that we were to pass on to somebody with something that allows us or Waterworks back in, obviously with some expense if we were to tear up somebody else's property to do reconstruction, but they're just never something anybody had to worry about because it was our ownership, and when it's no longer our ownership, it's awfully late to think about once we have a problem.
Good point.
So.
Good point. Tracy, you don't have any ideas. You've been here long enough, you're part of this.
That's not very long.
Quack, quack.
Yeah.
We have a low bar and you are well. If we're in the loop, you're in automatic.
Now I do feel at home. It's gonna be hard to top an office with a
And-
sliding glass door for
Yes,
doors,
you know, that's-
so.
But where, I suppose if it's in the paper, then somebody wanted to, whether you put it in the paper or
Well,
not.
my question was gonna be, if you were gonna put it up for sale, what would you sell it for? I guess it would depend on who wanted to buy it.
Yeah,
Well, and there's some regulations with how county, at least for road purposes, how county can dispose of property. I mean, we're talking about people calling randomly, but I don't know if you have the legal right to sell to a private party just outright without there being a process. I don't know,
I think you might be right, I mean, there may have to be more of like a bidding auction type.
Cause I know for road,
yeah.
if we own the easement, not the easement, but if we own it and we wanna vacate it per se or whatever, there's a process to allow that, and if it doesn't meet a certain couple of criteria where we can just give it to the adjacent landowner, it becomes an auction, which is part of the reason a couple of the requests I've had on that topic go away, because they're worried somebody else might swoop in and get it, which would be an even bigger problem. So I just say that if you get to a certain point, you may wanna have Trent or Lisa take a look at that too.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, and whether it needs to be an auction, or could it be like a sealed bids or something like that, how that works out.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would assume it would be something as far as a public, well, like the lost and found stuff, bikes, vehicles, all has to be public, what you call it? Yeah.
What happened when your county home closed?
What happened there?
It's still county property.
It's still county property.
County
Yeah,
property, yeah.
it's too interconnected with all of our utilities out there, so it's still county property. I do think you can work with another entity like Waterworks, or possibly even the library, depending on their, I don't know how that ownership or how exactly that works. But I do think there's potential. I know we can work with other engineering departments, and there is some allowance for that kind of stuff for a direct situation. I can go sell something to Henry County, for instance, directly, but.
I think if it's to a private entity.
That's where I'm going with this, is so I guess just something that you might wanna have research to know what your options are on that front, if you do something other than work out a deal with Waterworks or something like that.
And so that wouldn't apply so much to Waterworks, or.
I think there's a
library.
possibility that there's flexibility there. I keep saying possibility because I'm not familiar with
Yeah.
this type of situation. I'm more familiar with my side, and that's a special area of the code. I don't know if it's the same elsewhere.
So who's going to give us a value, who's gonna give us a value on this?
On, the assessor, and I'm sure he sent me something here sometime in the recent past or something like that, cause I'd ask him, cause they can come up with about anything, whether it's a public building, or I'd say that's worth $100,000 or something. Ballpark, they don't go into as much detail when they assess that value as they do if they go to your home or your business, but just so you have an idea what something's worth. Unless, Christie, you don't think you would get cold feet when out of the building trying to say you wanna stay there?
No, I think we'll be ready to go. That was one of my questions. How do we pack? How quick can we make this happen? Yeah.
Yeah, I would just say, I mean, it's a fully functional building. It's not like, it's falling apart or, it's in horrible condition. It's a decent building, it's got a generator, backup power, so it's definitely fully functional, but is it, operational wise to what, conducive to what your, efficient to what your business would be? That would be the thing, so that might kind of narrow the pool of who would be able to do that, but, yeah, I don't know, as far as, working with another government entity might be, maybe you could work something out, but otherwise I think it has to go out for public bid or open to the public. And I don't, that's the way it is with everything else, but I don't know about the real estate part of it, but.
Somebody that needs to be close to the courthouse, like what you were saying, Lisa, it could be another attorney office or something that wants to be close to the courthouse and say,
Well, and the thing with attorneys though, we do everything electronically, so.
Anymore, it isn't like you're running to the courthouse all the time.
Yeah, half of our attorneys work out of their home.
They just hit send.
So it's not, and not a crucial thing as it used to be where you needed to be within walking distance. Most of our newer attorneys either have their office in their home or they're just wherever they can find the cheapest office space.
Rodney, what do you, expenses on that building for heat, electric, you have any idea what that is a year?
I don't right off the top of my head, I can get that for you.
If
though.
that
$3,000-4,000 or?
Honestly, I'd hate to guess, cause I don't remember. I can just kinda look at my budget and see what I had in there for electric and gas and get you a ballpark. But I don't know what that is off the top of my head.
What we do, that's what I'm saying, get the expense off the county.
Good,
That's,
yep.
whether you sell it to somebody that is still not gonna be on the tax roll, I'd rather sell it to somebody that's on the tax roll. But we don't need that extra expense.
We're insuring it too.
Well, and you can always put it up for an auction however which way, and if Waterworks wants it, they can get it that way too. I mean, you can, doesn't guarantee that it's off the tax rolls, but
Yeah.
I guess my point is you don't have to do something like that, and they may not be interested anyway.
I'll find that assessment or call Matt, get it other, and give that to you, Rodney.
Okay.
An idea what he had in there for it.
I'll touch base with Shane.
And if you could check and just get an idea, you know, utilities are roughly X number of dollars a year.
Yeah, I mean, we have utilities, like I say, generator, there's other, you know, like hidden expenses, not hidden, but just
Yeah.
other expenses associated with it besides besides utilities, but yeah, I can come up with some numbers for you.
My interest was also in the fact that our building after July 30th will only have Ted and Patty in it, and we don't know if the services side of the building will continue to go whatever the region funds, or districts fund in the future. So we'll just have 2 staff in that building, and so I was just watching what you do with this building
Yeah.
and thinking, well,
Yeah.
we're gonna have another one that maybe people could be moved over to a smaller area and be more efficient. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for sure after July 1st, but that'll be something to think about.
Kind of in the air till the end of the year on that.
Yeah, till we get the state plan and the,
If that comes empty, you can always sell that to the casino, and then they can bring their high rollers in and fix that up for us.
it is a nice building with a
Yeah.
generator and everything. It's nice.
Colin, you've been pretty quiet.
Why don't we, you guys get them, you talk to that lady and you find out, you know, what it is and.
I can tell you Matt's in Des Moines. today.
What?
Matt's in Des Moines today.
Would you, well, then I won't get into, I'll look at my
They're doing
email.
tax appeals up at PAP today, so.
Okay,
And
okay.
then we can, have another work session on this, so we
Get value, talk to the other people, see what those numbers are for that.
We can find out what the, you know, the process is with real estate.
Yeah, we're
as
trying
far
to,
as-
they're only up there for the day, so I will talk to Trent first thing in the morning and have him kind of look into this to see what we have to do, what the requirements are.
Would the next work session be the time to maybe talk about how we plan to make the move? Cause I think that'll be something, you know, I think about IT and maintenance, and maybe kind of talking about even maybe closing public health for a couple of days, just because I think there'll be so much disruption,
Well,
I'm not sure that we're gonna be in the right place.
I'm sure you probably have to do that.
How soon do you think you're gonna be ready to make that move?
So they're coming in to do the furniture starting on the 16th of September, and then they have by contract 1 week to finish the furniture. Somewhere along the line, probably before we make that move, I would think maybe we do an open house for the community, or ribbon cutting or something, so that would
Right
be
on.
something that we'd have to get planned. So maybe like that last week in September, first week in October, might be the game plan. And then we're getting into flu shot season, so it'd have to be to where we would obviously not close our office on Tuesdays, cause people come in for flu shots on Tuesdays. And then, you know, somewhere in that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, have that move done, so that we're able to start clinic the next week.
You have to coordinate some of that stuff with Colin when you, shut that stuff down, whether that's a, 1-day process or a 3-day process, or how that would work.
So it'd probably take us about a day, maybe 2 tops, to make sure all the equipment's out there and set up, hooked up. We're just gonna make sure all the, you know, switching and, you know, everything else is good beforehand, so. I just texted, Mike, with the Ambo Telco about getting the fiber board out there, so we'll make sure that's going. But yeah, shouldn't be too painful.
Are you gonna be able to take that big refrigerator over?
Yeah, let me know when your schedule's open. So, ours will be multiple days, we'll just, it'll be
Well,
just
I
different
want you,
things
when you
whenever
put
we
it
can get
in,
them done.
it's It's gonna be harder to take that out of there than it is put it in a new building, cause that new building, you got a straight shot.
Rodney made sure when we were designing those, when we were, have our input into the design, he said, I want this, he said, the refrigerator has to go in there without taking any turns.
Yeah, that one is really big, so it'll be a process, but we won't have a lot of newer furniture, so it'll just be helping moving some of the small things. Those freezers, refrigerators can be about the biggest stuff we have to move. We'll be working that in throughout the whole, as soon as we can, you know, so.
And we've been working about taking care of some of the old things in the back room, old records. I mean, we had boxes and boxes of old records that was already, scanned into the system. They were duplicates, and so we did have a purge day. We had the shred it come out, and, we did about 8 of the great big tubs of old shredding and got rid of that, so we could get those documents destroyed the way they needed to be. And so we've cleaned a lot out of that back room, so we've been working all the time trying to get some of this stuff moving, to where it's not just left for when we're ready to move, because there's no reason moving records that have already been put into the system. And we're just good about keeping duplicates, so.
So that will be something else to think about as well, is there'll be lots of desk, file cabinets, lots of different things left in the current building. Whether, what we do with all that stuff in there as well. I think some desks are already spoken for, so we'll have some moves to offices and different things with that, but there will be some of that interior stuff
Still say we need to have
left.
a countywide garage sale?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we can just leave it all in there and verbalize it.
Sell it as is.
And have it all, yeah.
Just talking, I can still see Barb Baker roaring into that office. What the county attorney was doing.
He really did want that.
Oh, I don't really like it, and he really liked aggravating Barb. God, that's funny. Okay, well, I'm gonna give Rodney a number, and he's gonna get an idea on the, and reach out to, the water company and give us an idea on utilities. I'll, check with, Frank on, about the library, see whether they're interested or not. And if they are, I'll have that number for them. And if I have to go to Matt, he won't be there today, but he'll be there later this week, and I can give him a call and he can, but,
Yeah, I'll get you some numbers shortly after the meeting.
Well, that's
It shouldn't take too long.
That's when you're gonna check with Shane again, right?
Yep, I'll give him a call.
and you leave a note or something for Trent?
Yep.
Check on that.
First thing in the
How we
morning.
dispose of that, okay. Okay. Any other comments?
Quack.
We are adjourned. Here, Crystal, let me get that
Tracy, you
that
want me to change
website
my
before I forget.
quack?
No,
Huh?
no,
You like that quack?
not at all. It would be weird if you did.
Huh?